What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. Of course, we're going to give you that good Week 10 recap. Carolina took down Wake Forest as Vegas predicted. Coach Doeren still thinks you guys don't respect NC State despite the FSU win. We've got Locked On Wolfpack host Kenton Gibbs here to discuss that with us. But more importantly, Clemson's finding a way to always squeak and win, and they might be playing spoiler for a couple of these Atlantic teams. Let's talk about it now here on Locked On ACC.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. Thank you so much for joining us once again. We have Kenton Gibbs from Locked On Wolfpack in the building. And of course, we've got some great conversations to go over with you today. Kenton, how you feeling?
I feel great as always. I'm not going to lie to you. Another good win for NC State, another good win for the good guys now. But seriously, this was a pretty good weekend for the ACC overall, with the exception of our one playoff hope being dashed. But we'll talk about that in a few.
Let's get right into it. Wake Forest getting taken down by UNC, a 58-55 loss. Carolina was a 2.5 favorite to win the game. Vegas clearly knows the energy of a second half Wake Forest team, but it was all Wake Forest until it wasn't. It was fairly even. It was 48-48 tied, but then somehow some way Carolina was able to squeak by with Ty Chandler running the field like he was vintage Ty, right? We also had Sam Howell showing himself worthy, and defense doing typical Carolina defense stuff, but showing up in the big moments and forcing Sam Hartman to look a little crazy in that bad boy. I would like to know your initial thoughts. Did you expect Carolina to squeak away with this win?
You know, I felt like, and I said this before, and I got called a Wake hater by everybody. I said the books were cooked for Wake a little bit, and they had not played anybody yet. And I am not surprised necessarily that Carolina was able to win this game. I'm more so surprised by how it happened. That's the thing that is a little more surprising to me, because normally when a team goes through a certain thing against a certain team one year, you don't see the exact same thing happen the next year. Last year, it was a 53-59 shootout where UNC had to overcome a massive deficit. And this year they overcame I want to say it was a 17-point deficit? 18-point deficit this year. At the end of the day, I'm never surprised by a team that I say, oh, they haven't played anybody yet, losing to a team that is all right. But what will always surprise me is a massively blown lead in the second half, or in the fourth quarter, more or less. I mean, that's inexcusable.
You know, I think Sam Hartman looked really human for the first time this season, right? 2 interceptions on the day, closing in on the last parts of the game, throwing 3 incomplete passes and having to go 3 and out, despite the fact that, yes, Carolina was offside. Coach Clausen even pointed it out. But to me, it just felt like, even though we've always talked about Wake Forest's defense being a little scarce, they showed up. They had definitely big moments throughout the game, but it was almost as if Wake Forest's offense, when Christian Beal-Smith went down, was like, yeah, let's abandon the run completely, despite the fact that it's been working for us, especially against this Carolina defense. We're just not going to do that. We're going to go in the air all the time.
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't talk about an offense's lack of performance when they put up 55 points. I can't do it. It's not how I'm wired as a guy that played defense at the college level. When I see an offense score 55 points, to me, you can't tell me nothing about that offense. Don't get me wrong. Sam Hartman did not have a perfect day, but he set a Wake Forest record for touchdowns in a single game. I'm not going to ask you to be Superman if you're Sam Hartman. We're at Wake Forest. We don't have any Supermen. We need to all be a team of very good men, and their defense has not been doing that at all. I mean, it is Ty Chandler. They made him look like the best thing smoking out of the North Carolina backfield. I said, wait a minute. I thought Javonte was playing for the Broncos. Did they combine him and Carter into one player and brought him back? Did they do the fusion dance in the locker room and they filling in for Carter? Because that he was running all up and down that defense. So I mean, yes, Hartman wasn't perfect, but to be honest, if you're telling me that 55 points is not enough for your team to win, if you're telling me 55 points, I'm still going to criticize the quarterback, well, I guess we need to snatch away some scholarships from some folks on defense. I'm joking. I'm never advocating for scholarships being snatched, but you get my point. Those guys over there on scholarship too, they need to make some plays.
Let's also talk about the biggest reason to me why Wake Forest lost this game. Penalties. They're a perfect team. They never struggle. They always play perfect. And to beat Wake Forest, you're going to have to play perfect and force them to mess up. And that's exactly what Carolina did. 11 penalties from Wake Forest. Like literally unheard of. 2 to 3 at best. We're usually seeing from the Demon Deacons. And yet it seemed like they were becoming unraveled. It was getting really chippy. I was, talking on Twitter to some of my guys and like, hey, was it this chippy last season? It absolutely wasn't. So I guess the pressure of 8-0 and being in the college football playoff conversation and knowing what was on the line kind of came to a head throughout the game. And they just really, it was deja vu. It was scary deja vu, right? Like I'm sitting here like, damn, Carolina really has a chance to win this game. And not to say they don't deserve it, but how they won was just like, yeah, you kind of got away with one there.
I mean, absolutely. Wake Forest is a team. I don't know if I'd say you have to play perfect to beat them, but they do. You have to beat them, right? Like I say about NC State all the time, they have 2 losses, haven't been beaten once. In order to beat Wake Forest, you have to beat Wake Forest. Wake Forest won't beat themselves, but it seems like they did to an extent this game. But still, credit to North Carolina. They did their thing. And to see that it wasn't all about Josh Downs and Sam Howell was the most surprising part about it. But then again, not really when you consider that this is a Wake Forest defense that, with the exclusion of Duke, because I'm sorry, but I struggle counting them as an actual offense that we need to consider. So with the exclusion of them, in their last 3 games, you've got what, 30, 33, 34, 56, and now 54 games rather. 33, 34, 56, and what was this last one? 58.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's on pace. It's on pace for who they are.
Do you think that they were looking ahead to that NC State game?
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't think that Wake Forest ever sees themselves as a team that has that luxury. Like, no offense to Wake Forest. I think they're a good team, but I think that they were aware of the fact that this North Carolina team can light it up. They can light it up. That has not been the problem with them this year. There has not been too many games where you look. I haven't even watched that much Carolina football, but in the times that I have watched them, I have not said, oh, man, that offense is just, ugh. Now, their tackling, their ability to block. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is this is a situation where I don't think that Wake Forest looked ahead. I just think that they got beat by a team that played better than them on this day.
And we are done having the college football playoff conversation about Wake Forest. Can confirm or no?
Oh, not about just Wake Forest, about all of the ACC. Last week I said that it's good when Miami is good, and let me clarify that statement, right? It's not good for the conference for any particular team to be good. It is good for every team in the conference to be good, right? Like it's not good for a conference. I think the worst thing that could happen for a conference is what happened the past 4 or 5 years where it was like Clemson, everybody else. Mm-hmm. Like, and for those of you who are listening to this instead of watching, my hand was high on the screen and then it disappeared. Because, I mean, that's just the reality of that is the worst thing that I think a conference can do. Because if that team, if your blank and everybody else team is proven to be bad, now everybody's looking at your whole conference like, what y'all got going on over there? So.
Yeah, so shout out to Carolina for getting it done. They are on the road next to play Pittsburgh, and they are on this Let's Ruin People's Lives tour. Definitely feeling themselves right now as they're trying to go ahead. But again, I mentioned Wake Forest plays NC State this weekend. I'm sure we'll get thoughts from Kenton Gibbs there. We'll do a quick hit because this is going to be the Atlantic ACC Championship. So we're going to do a post-game show, so make sure you guys watch that as well. But let's talk about this NC State team, who apparently is not getting any respect according to Coach Doeren. Oh, Jesus, help us, Father. But first, college football fanatics, I have got something for you. PrizePicks. Have you heard about it? Well, let me tell you, it's the daily fantasy made easy. It's a leader in college sports daily fantasy by allowing you to pick college football props more than anyone in the world, and offers all the star players of the Power Five as well as mid-majors players that you might not have ever heard of. All of your users that deposit and use your promo code, you'll get 100% instant deposit match up to $100 if you use promo code Locked On. That's LOCKEDON. PrizePicks allows mixed sport entry, so you can give me some Sam Hartman, some Sam Howell, even some Brennan Armstrong if you'd like. Use this award-winning app on both the App Store and Google Play. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less, and it's safe and offers fast withdrawals. Don't hesitate. Check out prizepicks.com. Use promo code Locked On or go to App Store and download the app today. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. We are here with Kenton Gibbs from Locked On Wolfpack, covering Locked On ACC every single Monday. Thank you guys for making us your first listen. By our YouTube comments, you would think that Kenton Gibbs runs the show here. I mean, the people love the guy. I'm just saying, not tooting his horn, but I'm tooting his horn. So, Wake Forest has NC State, but still, Coach Doeren is looking for some RESPCT. Apparently, after beating Florida State, we still do not love the Wolfpack. We're not giving him the love in the media. They feed off of that. They appreciate that. But I caution Coach Doeren, because the last time he was begging for some respect, they ended up blowing their wad against Miami. And if we know anything about the Wolfpack, they're very capable of blowing wads. So I would love to hear from the man himself. What are your thoughts about Coach Doeren talking about this respect thing? And did anyone truly doubt them beating Florida State this weekend?
First of all, let's stop saying that phrase so we can keep our clean rating on all of the different outlets that this is rotating on.
What's that?
The blowing of wads one. We don't. I'm just saying.
You can't say blowing the wad. What is that?
We're trying to keep our clean rating. I'm just
saying.
That's
not FCC approved.
Well, if our checks are docked from Locked On, you're gonna have to pay me the difference. But I'm with you. This is ridiculous. Coach Doeren, just win the games. Just win the game. You know who the most respected teams are in the nation right now? The undefeated ones. That's who.
Even the one-loss ones. Let's talk about Alabama for a second.
No, I don't want to. Okay. I don't want to start about these one, because some of these one-loss teams, to me, that they're getting much too much respect. They're getting over-respected. They're getting people.
That's a different show.
That's a different show. But if I'm talking about what these teams. Sometimes, I've long stood by something, because when I was younger, I used to be a little egotistical, and one of my coaches, my defensive coordinator, Coach Crowell, told me something. He's not a head coach at Belleville High School. He told me something that I'll never forget. He said, "Gibbs, if you're truly great, you won't have to tell people you're great. Other people will tell you how great you are."
Ooh.
Doeren, if you are truly a team to be respected, guess what? You don't have to go out and pull a Rodney Dangerfield. If you are great, people will bow to you and respect you. You know what people respect more than anything else? That ring.
Period.
That ring.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. If you pull up and you say, "Oh, y'all don't respect NC State," it's okay. You disrespecting the whole ACC. That's what they got to respect. That's what they got. The ring. What are we talking about respect for? Respect for beating Florida State? What are we talking respect for? Respect for beating the Jerkovich-less Boston College? Respect for beating Louisiana Tech? Respect for beating Clemson? Who Clemson at that time, they could barely complete a 5-yard pass. So what are we?
Maybe it's because in game day conversation, people don't even talk about NC State being a true contender. It's been all about Wake Forest. It's been all about Clemson potentially still having a chance. It has not been about NC State definitely more of a chance than Clemson, right? And absolutely, they beat Clemson, right? Why are they still in the conversation as much as anybody else?
Well, let me take it back to high school one more again, okay? Again, when I played at Cass Tech, the first year, my junior year, my sophomore year, we went to the semifinals undefeated and lost in the state semifinals, one game short of the state championship. My junior year, we come back. We lost a couple games during the regular season. Everybody ruled us out. They said what we weren't. They said, oh, they're undisciplined, they're this, they're that. They'll be done when the real teams get involved. Everybody said the books was cooked for us. We said, okay, all right, don't worry about it. We win one game. Everybody, all of the people, the experts who were picking high school teams, they picked against us the first week. We won. They picked against the second week. We won. They picked against us the third week. We won. It does not matter who these people pick because they picked against us all the way up till us getting the ring. And then the next year, they picked against us again, all the way to a second ring. Doeren, it don't matter. It don't matter if they're not talking about you on game day. It don't matter if they're not talking about you on anything except ACC replay. It does not matter. Because at the end of the day, Eric McLean is done playing football. EJ Manuel, Mark Richt, they're done. Joey Galloway, whoever else you want to talk about. Desmond Howard, Kirk Herbstreit, they're done playing.
The one young man who talks about football who never actually played that one too.
Well, all of them. They're done, or they never played to begin with. David Pollock, he's done. You know who's still playing? Devin Leary, Ricky Persons, Big Icky. Those are the guys that are still playing. Focus on them. Focus on the guys that are playing. Because and I hate to get riled up like this, but it's irking my spirit because everybody's talking about, well, they're not talking about us. Well, they don't care about it. You ain't got to talk about me. But guess what? When you talk about the history books, NC State has not had an ACC championship since 1979.
That's not funny. I don't know why I laughed.
You were not born.
Not even thought about.
I was not born.
Not even
Most of our listeners were not born. So guess what? You can go through all of those years, and if you only look at the champion from the ACC to tell the story of what teams were in the ACC, you would not know that NC State was in for all these years, right? So with that being said, if you win this year, your name is in the record book. Can't nobody ever take that away from you.
Ooh, okay, coach. I feel the energy. I feel it.
It does not matter who respects you, who tells you they love you, who tells you they're pretty. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know why? To a defensive back, that ball don't got a name on it. That ball is anybody's. To a team, that ring ain't got a name on it yet. That ACC championship, it don't come with Clemson on it. It don't come with Florida State on it. It don't come with Pitt on it. It don't come with Wake Forest on it. It's blank. Whoever goes and gets it, that's whose name goes up there. So if you want the respect, don't cry about it. Don't beg and moan. Go get it.
And you would almost think that NC State didn't win the game this weekend. 28-14 handedly beat FSU. It was a little shaky in the beginning, but they figured it out. Devin Leary with 314 yards on the day, figuring it out. Ricky Persons and Bam Knight figuring it out with their legs. Looking good and sharp in defense, having young guys step up. Pitts, Pierre-Louis doing what they needed to do to get it done. And to me, let's focus on the positives. And yet and still we're playing with this chip. And you know what? It reminds me of when Coach Sweeney, Dabo, used to do this fictitious, everyone's coming for us, we're the underdogs, we're playing with this chip, and it's not real. Nobody's saying that about you, right? And that's what I feel like sometimes Doeren is doing. And a guy who hates media so much, why are you ragging on us when I'm sitting here saying, yeah, I absolutely think that NC State has a shot, not only next weekend, but to win the whole damn thing. Like, I know he doesn't listen to Locked On ACC podcast, but I'm about to send it to him, right? I'm about to find the email on the staff directory and just slide it in.
Well, as a former player out of his first recruiting class, it would hurt my feelings to find out that he don't listen to us. That would hurt my feelings to find that out. David, if you don't listen, start listening. I know everybody else call you Dave, but your mama names you David, so I'm gonna call you David. David, you start listening to this podcast. No, but on a serious note, though, everybody knows how I am about this thing. I hate all the extra. I hate all the glitz and glamour. I hate all the when people are like, "Oh, the fans left early," or blah, 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 blah. All that is extra. All that matters to if you're a serious program, all that matters is what happens between those lines on any given Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. That's all that matters. That's it. All the rest is fluff. It's what did they say on Wall Street? It's a weasel, it's a wazoo, it's a fugi, it's a fugazi. It's fairy dust. It's not real. All the rest not real. Look at what in perfect example, UNC before the season, number 5, talk about playoff. Look at them now. It's not real. It's fairy dust.
We were not number 5, but I'm gonna let that slide. I'm gonna
I'm
let that
sorry.
go. I'm gonna let that stray.
What
I'm
was
gonna let that
UNC?
stray
What was
that
UNC
you
rank?
tried to give us.
What
go.
was UNC rank?
It's all good. We won this week. I'm not gonna go
Either
down
way,
with negative energy.
either way. Not we could go past them. Look at Clemson. Clemson was top 4. It's a weasel. It's a wazoo. It's a feed. It's fairy dust. It's fairy dust. Whatever we think of you, who would have picked UTSA to be undefeated this late in the season? Whatever we think of you, it don't matter. Who would have picked Michigan State to be a team where they are right now?
It don't get beat matter. By Purdue. Yeah, we definitely didn't call that one.
Who would have picked Purdue to beat 2 top 5 teams? It does not matter what everybody thinks.
That's why you play the game.
That's what they think. That ain't got nothing to do with you. When I played, we had a very simple phrase. FIBU, forget everybody but us. Forget everybody but us. Now, forget was not the word.
Okay.
Forget was not the word there. But again, we trying to keep our clean rating.
Okay.
It was a word that rhymes with duck. Forget everybody but us. I don't know where NC State lost that mantra at, but they need to bring it back because it's not important who's respecting you, who's disrespecting you. Kiss the ring. When it's time to say, hey, boys, we did it. And you got a fistful of rings, one of them being an ACC Championship ring, who going to disrespect you? Because guess what? If they disrespect you, they disrespect themselves. If anybody says, oh, well, the ACC was terrible that year, weren't you in it? So you was terrible too. Weren't you involved in that? Oh, okay. Oh, well, the ACC, the ACC was just so bad that year, and NC State stole one from you. That's who we stole one from. We stole it from you. We stole it.
All righty. Well, we got to keep that FIBU mentality, I see. But if you guys want to keep talking about this Atlantic, I absolutely am for it. But first, want to remind you guys that if you have not tried Built Bar by now, you are simply missing out. They say it's a protein bar, but it does not taste like one. Most protein bars are chalky or waxy or just plain hard to eat. But Built Bar, soft, covered in 100% real chocolate. And when you bite into it, you know you're eating something different. It's more of an experience, right? One that you'll simply enjoy. In fact, you'll swear that you're eating a candy bar, but it has all the healthy benefits of being low calorie, low sugar, and high in protein. And to top it all off, guys, they have so many flavors. Another great thing about Built Bar is that sometimes they give you these limited edition flavors that are absolutely chef's kiss every 3 to 4 days. So go check their website often. You don't want to miss out. Go to built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order by using LOCKED15. That's LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. So we're wrapping up today's show here with Locked On Wolfpack host Kenton Gibbs. Make sure you find him at TGIF_Kenton. You can follow the podcast at Locked On ACC on Twitter, and you can find my handle at Candace Cooper there. And I can't wait to hear all of your feedback because I'm sure it'll be spicy after this week. Again, reminding you that Wake Forest is probably going to be squeaking out of the top 10 after Saturday's loss, yes, but we still feel like they are the team to beat in the Atlantic, or can NC State ruffle some feathers? It remains to be seen, but hold that thought because Clemson's saying, don't go anywhere. We are still very much in this mix after taking down Louisville Cardinals, losing 30-24. The Cardinals definitely had everything in them to win. They were ahead for every single minute of the game except 4 minutes. And then Clemson took over and won the game. I was watching the game the whole time. I said, Louisville's about to make this upset. Malik Cunningham's looking great. Had a little ankle tweak, but hey, I'm going to keep things rolling. Mr. Mitchell was doing his thing. I'm saying it's all Cardinals. Then DJ decided he wanted to be a little quarterback. Not a great one, but a good one. A little bit better than what we've seen. And yet somehow they found a way. Good Lord. Clemson is finding a way. And you have to give that to them. If nothing else, in this very lopsided, wacky season that they're having, you got to give them a nod for finding a way to get to the W column.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. At the end of the day, Wake Forest has shown us all year. It doesn't matter how much you win by, how you do it, just win. That's all that matters. That's all. Yeah. If they would have found a way, if they would have threw a last-second Hail Mary to beat UNC, everybody wouldn't have been talking about how Ty Chandler ran up and down that defense. They would say Hartman and company have done it again. You just win. And Clemson has found a way through a lot of games, except for NC State, Pitt, and Georgia, to just win. But the thing I find very interesting about this is they're going to need a ton of help. Like, they don't just need a little help. They need a ton of help. First of all, NC State has to lose to any combination of at least 2 of their final 3 games.
Very much could lose to Wake Forest and Carolina.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible at all. But that's the first thing that needs to happen. Second of all, they have to beat Wake Forest. Wake Forest has shown a propensity to put points on the board no matter who's in front of them. The problem for Clemson is, where y'all going to get some offense from? I heard Dabo Swinney was outside Lane Kiffin office. Y'all got any more of them plays out there? Just a little bit.
Listen, I know we've been talking bad about them, but they looked all right. They looked all right against Louisville. And we just spent 45 minutes talking about Wake Forest's crappy defense. It ain't like they're above it.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying that it's impossible for Clemson to get there. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, I don't understand why more people aren't talking about just State and Wake, because those are the 2 teams that the reality is there is a very high probability that this Saturday, or next Saturday rather, game, Wake Forest against NC State, is going to be a play-in for the Atlantic Championship game. Like that, or it's going to be the Atlantic Championship game rather. Right? Like that's what we're looking at here. So with that being said, okay, and if Wake Forest happens to beat NC State, congratulations. Y'all are cooked either way. There's nothing you can do at that point. Even if you beat them, they got to lose again after you. And who did they play last game of the season?
Who are you talking about?
Wake Forest.
They play Boston College.
Yeah.
Phil Dracovic is back, though. Like, Phil is back. Okay. All right.
But is he? Because I saw him. Is he?
Week 10, we have gone through. As it stands now, who are your 2 champions that you're going to see in Charlotte?
Pick. I'll tell you this. If somebody put a gun in my head and said, "Ken, you've got to pick the championship game," I would just be glad that my life insurance is paid up and that my relatives will be well taken care of if in the incident that anything happens.
Pick Gibbs.
This is tough, and I don't want to say it because I feel like I'm gonna jinx them. But
be a homer.
I gotta say it. I'm gonna be a homer. I gotta do it.
Okay.
NC State and Pitt are gonna meet up in that ACC Championship.
Oh, I like that.
NC State Pitt. That's what it's gonna be.
Honestly.
And I hope Kenny Pickett don't make me eat my words and play like a number 1 overall pick in that game. That's all I'm hoping. You know what I mean? Because I've already had to duck my head a little bit every time I've been. What? Kenny threw for 4 touchdowns. Okay.
Honestly, I think that
it don't count.
I think that Pitt is going to lose to Carolina on Thursday, and I think that Miami is going to get a little bit more in the conversation, but UVA is ultimately going to be in Charlotte. I think UVA is going to be in Charlotte.
Really?
Yep, I think it's going to be UVA and Wake because yeah, why not? Let's throw it out. Let's throw it against the wall, baby.
UVA and Wake.
Let's do it.
We
got Eric coming out in droves for that one.
The Wake part is spicy. Because Wake is they need the least help. They are the team that, technically NC State doesn't need help either, but you get what I'm saying. Like they're the team that it seems they highest rated. They would seem like the favorite. But UVA, you got to explain that one. You got to explain that one before we go.
Listen, if you think about the fact that how the numbers go and how the rest of these coastal teams have played out, they're absolutely getting in their own way. And so I think that Miami is going to struggle the same way they struggled against Georgia Tech. They're going to blow their wad on one of these bad boys. They absolutely can beat the rest of their schedule. They play Duke, I think still. They play Virginia Tech, I believe. I'm going to look this up now because it's going to bother me. But
Virginia got Notre Dame, Pitt, and Virginia Tech left.
Okay, they can absolutely beat Virginia Tech. It's going to be dicey about Notre Dame. Who was the other one? Pitt? They can beat Pitt. They can beat Pitt. Miami, on the other hand, that Miami-Florida State game, that'll be the one, just because you play for pride. Miami beating Virginia Tech. Tyler Van Dyke might put on another show. And then Miami and Duke. Like, come on. All right. So Miami could throw it in there. But Virginia, okay, Notre Dame's they're gonna play them close, but they're gonna take the L. I think they're gonna play Virginia Tech close and win out. Just my thoughts. And is Tyler done for the season? I have to go back on my notes. I think he's out, but I don't know if he's done for the season.
Wait, Tyler who?
Sorry, not Tyler. Brendan.
I thought he was out for the season. I could be wrong about that. I've been wrong.
We're going to confirm here. We're going to confirm. We're running out of time, but we will confirm. And that's our picks. Okay. So we want you guys to tell us your picks. Leave the comments who's going to be in there. I say Wake Forest and Virginia. Kenton says NC State and Pitt. A lot remains to be seen. It still have a couple weeks left. And boy, oh boy, it's going to get spicy. Look forward to that time. Kenton, remind the folks of where they can find you, follow your work.
You can find Locked On Wolfpack wherever you're listening to this right now, unless you are watching on YouTube. You can find my Twitter page at LO_Wolfpack. You can also find my personal Twitter at TGIF_Kenton.
Make sure you guys follow the show at Locked On ACC on Twitter. You guys can just download, subscribe wherever you get podcasts. You can also hit us up on YouTube. Leave some comments. You know we like to have good conversation over there. Until next time, we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow for some JJ Jackson Locked On Blue Devils action. And yeah, it should be a good one.